I'm a former public defender, and so I worked as a criminal defense lawyer for over a decade. And then I came to the law school. I teach now as an assistant professor of clinical law, and I run a criminal appellate clinic, as well as teach a variety of other classes, and I direct the externships program as well.
I am a formerly incarcerated scholar. I'm in hopefully my last semester here at Penn State for my academic career, and I'm looking to do my internship in the spring and graduate. But overall, I'm an adult learner here at Penn State. I'm a local. I've been here about 12 years, so I now consider myself a local.
Well, I'm a musical theater guy. I've been an actor, a music director, and a director, and a producer. I have my own theater company and my own musical theater school here in State College. I also teach at Penn State.
Well, I mean, I think that there's sort of three main things that we ran on. I'm running on a slate with Rich Biever and Divine Lipscomb. And our idea about running was sort of three different kind of parts of our platform. Number one was criminal justice reform, greater transparency between the police and the community. And that was number one. Number two was affordable housing. And number three was sustainability and bikeability and walkability of State College. So I would say all three of those are still are definitely an important part of our agenda.
A slate is a group of candidates who are running together on the same platform.
The slate was formed through PA United, Pennsylvania United, which is an activist organization here in Pennsylvania. And I think the three of us were independently kind of thinking about running, but the PA United found out about our individual interests and tried to put us together as a slate. And I'm extremely grateful for that. Well, there are a couple things that made me want to run. First of all, I was a huge fan of Bernie Sanders and his two presidential campaigns, and he's always encouraging people to not just support others, but actually run if you can. I am also a small business owner in town that was severely affected by COVID, and so it made me aware of what local government can and can't do to help folks. And I also live right across the street from where Osaze was killed by the police, and that was a very seminal moment and something that I feel very passionate about.
Well, there are actually two kind of disparate events. One, like a lot of people in 2021, my father passed away in January, and that caused me to sort of think more broadly about what I wanted to do. I've spent a lot of time advocating for change, one client at a time in the courts, but I really wanted to think about more broader systemic changes. And I thought running for office potentially would be that. But even then, I hadn't really thought about it until a local activist, a high school student, in fact, contacted me on Twitter and had just put a bug in my ear about running for office. And I never really thought that someone like me would run for office, and then here I am.
I was asked to run after I made the statement to our previous borough council, or at least some folks are still on the council, that if they did not adhere to a list of our demands during some of our protests last year, that I would run for office and take their seat. And the community heard me, and the community held me to it, and so I'm here. Some of my goals are revolving around this sense of co-governance, community leadership, putting the power back where it belongs. Because ultimately, we keep voting in politicians, and we're not voting in ourselves, right? I'm not a politician. Don't plan on being a politician. I plan on being Divine, who lives up the block from you. Just that simple.
Getting elected, if we are so elected, which I hope we will be, we have a couple things in mind. One, justice, racial justice, social justice, and economic justice. looking at the police reform, reallocating funds toward maybe social workers to go out on police calls. So it's not just police if it's not just, doesn't call for police always. So sometimes, you know, there's like in the case of Osaze, it was a mental health issue. So to have funds allocated for folks to go along on those kinds of calls. Also looking at police training. One of the big issues that we keep hearing about is affordable housing. Students and also just people who work in the borough that can't afford to live in the borough. So we're looking at solutions for that as well. And then the environment, sustainability, bike paths, walking paths, that kind of stuff.
I'm hopeful that there's a lot more interaction between the university and students and the Borough Council, because a lot of the issues that we're working on have direct bearing on students. For example, some of you or many of you may have faced this issue about trying to find proper housing in State College. And one of the issues that we want to try and deal with is that how do we increase the supply of housing in State College? How do we enable students of all types, whether they're graduate students, undergrads, whomever, to find the housing that they would really be able to want and need in State College? So in that sense, you know, I think our platform is definitely geared a lot with not just the community in mind, but also including students in our analysis. And the other thing is making sure that the bikeability and the walkability piece is also really important, because a lot of students don't have motor vehicles, and I myself live near campus, and I want to be able to bike and walk with my kids. I have 2 kids, 9 and 7, and not worry about getting hit by a car or putting my life in my own hands when I'm walking or crossing the street, even let alone biking on these streets. So I'm hopeful that with our campaign, part of the whole idea behind it was that, and I think this is one of the reasons that makes it so unique how we're kind of running, is we're not running as individual saviors to try and figure out how to sort of fix things. I mean, our role, we really see it as trying to build bridges with the community and trying to make sure that the local government is more responsive to the needs of the community, of everyone in the community.
Because I'm a small business owner and I've lived in the borough for 20 years and network in the community, have these businesses in the community, I'm very well aware of what's going on here and raise my family here. So I'm very happy to live in the borough of State College, but I'm also concerned about some of the things that I think can be better.
This is your election. Like, that's what our entire slate is about, right? We could have each ran our own campaign and probably did fine, but we chose to run as a slate because I think when you look at the 3 of us, we encompass what you see in State College, right? Diversity, academia, low socioeconomic status to like small business owner. And we live here and we understand what's here, and we're not afraid to be on the ground. We're one community. It's not State College and the university. The university is in State College, right? We are one, right? If we are going to use that "we are," why don't we incorporate it across the board?